I remember I went to a fancy school, it wasn't my fault. I remember sitting in my study and I just picked up a copy of Performance Car and bound into it in cellophane was the dummy copy for something that was called Max Power, right? And that changed my life like it did anyone else's life. It had that 205 on the front with the headline "Purple Throbbing Monster." You're like, where's this? How have they got the minerals to do this stuff? And culturally, that changed everything. Max Power is the reason we're all here, I think, actually, still, probably.
And Fast Car.
I know, and Fast Car, but Fast Car had its audience and it was contained. Max broadened it out and brought people like me in, who then went on to buy Fast Car. But so I loved it, and I started tinkering, because you did. You basically bought your car. You couldn't afford to suddenly buy a Golf GTI, so you bought a normal Golf, stuck wheels. You messed with the engine, you put an exhaust on it. I started out in Mini, so Mini World magazine was huge for me. So I bought, my first car was a 998 Mini, Jan speed exhaust, twin SUs. Obviously that got fired into a hedge a couple of times, then it got stolen, then I bought another one, that got fired into a more solid object than a hedge. And then my father said, you can't have any more of these Minis, you're going to die. So I bought a Peugeot 205, but I couldn't leave that alone, so that had an exhaust. That didn't end up in a hedge. I don't know what happened to that one. That one got stolen. But then it went on. But I was always tinkering. I suppose that was the era when you almost couldn't leave it alone. You almost felt naked if you didn't have a set of wheels. And then I got into the hi-fi thing, which was utterly tragic because it was so expensive. But I loved it, and I found a bass bin with two Alpine Max bass 200 whatever 12-inch subs in it the other day, and a big V12 amp strapped to the back. I've still got all that stuff. But my sound off career ended in a car park near Blackburn Leys in about 1994, I think it was, when we turned up to a sound off. Everyone had these much bigger builds than me. We thought we'd be a bit arch. And they remember used to buy those Traxx that actually could produce those low frequencies that could demonstrate how stupid your build was. And we went with a copy of the Jungle Book soundtrack and played I Want to Be Like You, Ooh Ooh. And we just got asked to leave. So that was the last sound off I went to, because we played the Jungle Book. No, I couldn't leave it alone. And actually, it's come full circle, because now I don't have the joy in the new cars anymore. I've got some, but I'm building an E61 M5 Touring that's got a crazy engine going on and Schritt cams. We're going for 600 horsepower in that. I've got an Integrale that's been a Tank Barrett that's got a load more power. And I want cars that have got my personal touch to them. And I'm destroying the value of them. My M5 is unsaleable, but it probably owes me £100,000. And I don't know, that either means I've earned a few quid or I'm an idiot. It's definitely the latter. So I'm coming this is much more, I've really aligned myself with tweaking cars much more than I did 10 years before. 10 years ago I wasn't up for it, but I'm so bored with the new car offerings, I'm going to do it myself.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't really know that, but maybe if you get the M5 ready, you can bring it here next year and launch it.
Oh, I tell you what, we will do. It'll be on its 5th engine by then.
Right, we're going to move on to your Top Gear